Hi everyone, very warm welcome once again and good evening. So we are heading with our next chapter for the day, which is by Chandigarh chapter on how to find your passion by Milind, who's the founder of Humane. Just before we start off our session, let me quickly thank our founding sponsor, Innovation Roots, which is a leading consulting and training service provider helping organizations to achieve business agility and beyond. It is one of the leaders and pioneers of niche publishing services and is well known for content collaboration with global thought leaders, authors, and creators. You may refer to innovationroots.com for more information. I would like to thank our sponsor, Gile. Gile is a product offering from Tata Consultancy Service Limited. It is a purely cloud-based enterprise agile planning tool along with DevOps capabilities. Enterprises can use Gile to adopt agile practices or scale across multiple Scrum and Kanban teams using enterprise scaling frameworks such as SAFe, Disciplined Agile, LESS, and more. You can try out Gile for free up to 20 users for 30 days by signing up at gile.io, or you may reach out to us for exclusive product demos. Check out the Agile page on Agile Network India website for more information, and the link is posted on the chat box. Quick do's and don'ts for all our participants. Request you all to join 5 minutes before the start time. Use high quality speakers or headphones for better sound quality, and please keep your microphones muted and videos disabled as this may cause disturbance and bandwidth issues. Questions will be taken via chat box. Please enter your questions in the chat box. At the end of the session, the facilitator or moderator will help and read out few questions to the speaker as per the time availability. Request you all to fill in the feedback form after the event, which will help us understand more about the event management. With no further delay, let me call upon Milind, who will be uh, guiding us to how to find out our passion. Over to you, Milind. Looking forward to your session.
Hi guys, how are you? So since all are mute, I'll expect that everyone's okay. So thank you for this wonderful opportunity to address around I think 17 to 20 people, and I suppose all are youngsters. And I just hope that in the next 40 to 50 minutes that we are together, somehow I'm able to add some value to your life through my experiences or through what uh, life has taught me in the last 7 to 8 years. And I believe that there's never a time or not any human being who has a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience, because I would like to take reference to a point where I have a cousin who is really intelligent, so who topped in the law exam, CLAT, what we say. So I used to have this discussion with him. So since he reads a lot, he studies a lot, and he is a topper, he has done NTS and everything. So he generally, when we have a discussion with him or an argument with him, he often starts saying that I have read about it more, so I know about it. So he just stops listening. So what I always tell him, and what I feel that a lot of youngsters today also should feel that, and even all people of all age groups, that it is not possible to have all the knowledge. It is not possible to just know everything. It is not at all possible that one person is supremely intelligent. Otherwise, you'll have to be enlightened, which is like extremely rare. I do not know any enlightened person, or I do not have the capability to know if someone is enlightened or not. So it's always good to have such platforms, such networks where we can learn from each other's stories, we can hear each other's stories, we can have some good time, and there's no need to classify myself as higher than you or senior to you or someone who has more experience of life, or like that we are all listeners and this is the speaker so he knows more than us. This is not how it should be, and this never happens in life. Everyone has their own story, everyone has something or the other in life, and everyone has some or the other experience. Even if someone has not done that is publicly acclaimed. For example, like normally in India, we feel that unless until a person is not publicly acclaimed, for example, a person has not done things that majority part of the society feels good, he should not be respected, or his experiences or his opinions do not matter. And so I hope that in the next 40 to 50 minutes that we are together, I know that you are not allowed or you are not advised to speak through your microphones, but I hope just hope we can have a good conversation going on for next 40 to 50 minutes through the chat box or through anywhere that you feel comfortable, so that we all have a good time, we all have a nice time. So eventually after the session, we all have something to learn, something to share. And when I say we all, even me included. So even I get to learn a lot of things from everyone during these sessions and networks, and that's the only reason why we are in that part. I'd like to know Ikigai philosophy about passion. So I do not know about that. So I would like to tell that I am not a professional physiological or a professional psychological speaker. I just have some experiences of my life where I think that I could do a little better than other people of my age, at least in my community. There are others who are doing much better, who are much younger to me also. So I just feel that because I followed my passion and I was courageous enough, so I could do that. So that is what I'm going to learn. I do not know about ikigai or something. I've not read books on passion, so I do not know those terms and everything. So I would like to start with my small story. Uh, that when I was 13 to 14 years old, beautiful gift, like everyone has some or the other gift, to observe people and to observe life at a macro level. So luckily, at the age of 14 to 15, I got into this workshop of that was done by Art of Living organization. So they had this youth empowerment skills workshop where they could talk about that how to control your anger, how to see your life, and they gave us a good environment where I could discuss about the issues that I had with my parents, the issues that were in my family, the issues that I had with learning, and most of all in my ninth standard. So when I was in 14, when I was 14, 15 years old, so I fell in love with a girl, and she was a newcomer. So I was an intelligent guy at that time. Intelligent means I used to study and cram well. So I fell in love with this girl, and then after 1 year of talking and being friends and everything, just being friends, so she suddenly stopped talking to me, and I didn't know why. So she started ghosting me. She ghosted me when there was no term such as ghosting. So I was in a very different state of mind. I was very young. I had no idea what to do, and I thought that I am very macho. I know a lot of things. I am so intelligent. I am like I was good in dance, and I was so many other things. So that feeling I could not contain. I could not understand that what is this I'm feeling. That if my love is pure for someone, why the other person is not acknowledging it, or what is this new thing that has happened in life? That why this happened, or what is the problem that has happened, and why do I feel so bad? I used to cry a lot. I used to just sing songs, and I used to feel very bad, and I could not get over it. I just thought that I am the most miserable person in the world, and everyone should pity me. And I used to live with that attitude. All my confidence got shattered because I could not get a reason on why was I rejected, or what is there wrong with me. And I tried so hard. Uh, and in love, it's so delicate that if you try harder, you make the other person go even farther than you. So that was the problem. So that forced me to think about deeper aspects of life, like what I'm feeling, what I'm going through, what I'm thinking, or how to achieve this, or how to cope with this. Like you cannot achieve a person, but how to cope with this. So suddenly during that time I went into this workshop. There it had a basic training of like they taught me some meditation and some spiritual practices, and there we could all openly discuss about all these things, which is generally you cannot discuss to this about your parents. And in a class like ninth standard, generally other people have not fallen in love, or you feel that you are the one who truly loves someone, but others do not understand what true love is. So I used to feel like that I am the lone person who is going through this, or I'm feeling this, and no one will understand, and no one will feel how I'm feeling. So that was a very bad time. So but in that environment I could share all these things, and we all came up with the problems. So there were other areas also, like for example my mom and dad used to fight a lot. Later on I realized that it's common with everyone. Normally I used to think that it's only with my parents, that my parents fight a lot, other parents are so happy, other parents are so good. So almost going through these things I realized that there are so many more things to learn and develop about your personality, rather than just learning in school and learning in institutions, where we somehow spend most of our time, money, our parents' money, our most young age. We try to gather information like how science works, on how maths works, on how vocabulary works, on how punctuation works, on what are tenses, or what is Pythagoras theorem, or all such kind of these things. But there on I realized that to undergo this situation where I'm feeling this pain, I really need to focus on other areas of my life, on why do I feel angry, on what are the issues that are going on in my life, how to cope with them, what to do when my parents are fighting, on this that how can you take responsibility. So during that time a shift happened with me. Later on in the by the end of the workshop I realized that the one solution to all your problem is that you feel really miserable if you keep on thinking that what is happening to me, or everything is happening to me. When you think that, oh, this has happened to me, oh, that has happened to me, oh, why this happened to me, if you think life as this, that things are occurring to you and world is moving on its own and it's happening to you, then you feel really miserable. So in the last, there were, see, in the first 4 or 5 days, we realized that there are so many problems, and then the last, they slowly took us to the conclusion that definitely meditation and everything makes us feel good. So I'll also take liberty of the 50 minutes that I'm being gifted, and we'll do a small 5 to 10 minutes meditation, because it's a low period of day, like 4 to 6 p.m. We generally feel dull. We generally feel like post lunch period. We generally feel little lethargic and everything. So that will even help us rest through that time, because obviously most of the hard work we have already done in the day. So I'll take you through that also. But I realized that those things definitely give you power to cope that, but the direction is that rather than feeling that things are happening to you, you need to take responsibility of everything that's happening. So the moment we feel that, okay, this has happened, now I have to take responsibility of the way I feel. So when that shift happened in my mind, that no matter what I feel, and for no matter what is happening to me, and how I feel to it, or how I react to it, or how I respond to it, is all my call, is all in my hand, and I can make it change, or I can take a responsibility that, okay, if this thing has happened, how do I have to react to it? How do I have to respond to it? This might feel complicated, but in the good thing is that I realize that no matter if my mom is fighting, my mama papa is fighting, that rather than crying in my bedroom and locking myself up, what I should do is I should talk to them. I should be friends with them. I should help them out. So I started becoming a friend to them. Rather than we expect our parents to become friends to them, we always feel that our parents should do this, our parents should do that. We always expect our parents to be God, whereas they are just human beings. So I am separated. So I got married at the age of 21. I had a marriage life of 2 years where my son was born. Then I realized that all of my marriage decisions were wrong, and from last 2 to 3 years I am involved into legal matters of separation. And then there's my small kid who is going through all that tussle and everything else. So he must be expecting for us to be God, but I'm just a 26-year-old figuring out life myself. So and I used to remember that we were kids, we always look up to our parents as these perfect human beings, and that what I used to do. But after that workshop, I just realized that it's us who have to who have to just take responsibility of what is happening around. So I was talking to us rather than when earlier when they were angry, I used to cry. That why are you angry? Why is this happening to me? Now when they were angry, I used to talk to them. That mom, I can see that you are angry. Please tell me what's your problem. What are you going through? What are you feeling? And we often felt that we could have a deeper view of the real problem that people are going through. Otherwise, whatever happens to us, how people react to us, how people talk to us, we only feel at the surface level that they are talking shit about us, or they are frustrated about us, or they are angry on some of our action. But then we later realize that there are some other reasons also that someone is stressed. So when I started talking to my mom, then I started talking to my father, and I came to know about different things, that what are the financial situations they are going through in my family, that what is the income that we earn, what are the problems papa is having in business, what are the problems mama is having in her family. Mama is like moms generally feel very lonely. So they have one, they feel that they own one property that is 100% them, and that is their children. So they be angry at them, they love them. So they in turn sometimes they become even toxic. So when you talk to them and you understand that, mom, tell me what is your problem, why are you feeling this, what has happened, and then a deeper relation starts up building. So that is the time when I realized I started getting a little mature about life, how things are happening. Then starting from my family, I then started talking to my friends and just giving a good ear to people. Just by being good friends to people, were able to solve their problems on their own. I realized this is giving people strength. So when I talk to friends, I realize that they are also going through so many of issues. So and eventually with my parents, things started happening better. So my father started doing better in business. They started having lesser fights, because when I asked them, they started finding the logic that, okay, why are we fighting? What is the real reason? What are the problems? So slowly and slowly things started getting better. So same way things happened with my friends as well. So I think that was the time, only that basic shift. So I'm going through the very root level. That basic shift in my ninth standard gave me a new direction to my thought process, that whole of your life can change by the way of how you are thinking about it. So when ninth and 10th standard happened this way, so 10th was the time when I have to decide that what is your career, where do you want to take, commerce, non-medical or medical. At that time, around just 9, 10 years ago, there were only three streams. So you want to take this, you want to commerce was becoming a businessman, or being in a commerce was being in accounts or doing business. This was the macro idea that they told us. non-medical was being an engineer, and uh, medical was being a doctor. So I didn't realize that there is so much else also in the world. So I couldn't realize what to do. I ended up reading this book in 10th standard by Rich Dad Poor Dad. I really liked that philosophy, where what only thing I could realize is that you need to learn about finance. That there are people who know about finance, there are people who do not know about finance, and it has nothing to do with what they are earning. For example, my father can be a great scientist, can have a great salary, but he can be financially illiterate. But a person who has not done PhD, not done graduation, not done anything else, but if he has learned the right tools, he can be financially literate. That was the only thing I could understand, that if you're financially literate, you can make money. I did not know what is financial literacy. I did not know what are the teaching. But somehow I realized that this makes a lot of sense to me. That eventual goal is to be rich. That a lot of people, I realized when we were having these discussions about non-medical, medical, and commerce, I realized that one thing is common in all the discussion, that what makes you more money. And this is a bad thing, as I'm happy now the trend is changing. Now people even feel that what are they more happy doing, or what is their natural gift, because everyone has a unique gift. That is how you should work on it. But what is the natural gift? So rather than this, everyone used to talk that how to make more money. So I thought, if money is the goal, then let us focus on money rather than focusing on non-medical, medical, and everything else. So then there was this new stream that had come up, vocational stream in some other school, name of financial market management, by the name of FMM. So I went there. I said, okay, let's do this. And I was that shift in ninth standard on how my thought process changed my whole life at my home, and even helped me cope up with that first first love life that I first girl that I fell in love with. Other just in case, she had just got engaged around a month back, but it still hurt. That's okay. But point is that I realized that no matter how the world is moving, what people are thinking, your own thought process can change your own life. That is what actually matters. It does not matter how others are living or what others are doing. If others are doing something, others' life will be benefited. But what you are doing, your life will move will only according to your action. So I had this courage. Okay, I had this courage to do something differently. I was like, okay, this makes sense to me. I have to make money. This tells me that I can make good money. Let me go to FMM. So in FMM, we learned about capital markets, derivative markets, on how stock markets work and everything. So I did not get into that line, but I realized in that 11th and 12th standard that money is just a number you can play with. So in that 2 years, if someone asks me that what do you have learned in FMM, I tell them that I realize that money is not something to be emotional about. You can learn to play with it. These are just numbers like a game. So that was the first career achievement I had, because I see a lot of people today in India and abroad and everywhere else. We connect ourselves with money very emotionally. Like, oh, this one money, oh, this one money, oh, how to do it, oh, what to do, oh my god. Like, for example, even today people say ki the salary should be 1 lakh. No one calculates anything. It's a prestige that okay, he earns 1 lakh rupees per month. Or if someone asks you that what amount you want to earn, they say 1 lakh rupees per month. Why not 70,000? Why not 80,000? And why not 1 lakh 50,000? Why not 3 lakhs per month? Why not 4 lakhs per month? No calculation. Just these are just emotional answers. So I'm happy that I got out of it. I realized how it works and everything. Then another thing happened, that when I was in plus two, I was sure, because I was aware of my financial situations of my father. I was sitting with him at his business. I understood what's the income we are getting, how many loans do we have, and everything. So I was always aware of to calculate things on their ROI. For example, I then evaluated that if I have to do any kind of graduation, definitely I was in finance. It is a kind of a commerce stream where you do not have to choose maths. It's maths is optional. So otherwise, it's all commerce plus the subjects of financial market. So there was two extra subjects to learn. So I used to in plus two, and even during that finance thing, I learned that no matter what are you investing, what are you even spending, you need to have a ROI. That what I'm spending, how much money will I get back, or how will I be able to repay it. So when during my plus two, I gave exam for a lot of top colleges like Christ College, like Symbiosis and everything, like all this business college and everything. I could not go to DU because I did not have maths. Then, so I always used to think, found out that no matter what kind of graduation I do, I'll anyhow will have to crack CAT and then do MBA. So I was in a fix that first my father will spend around 15 to 25 lakhs on my graduation. Then I'll have to clear CAT. Then again he'll have to spend 15 to 20 lakhs on my post graduation. Then I land up a good job. Even then there that can be a problem, or if something else happens in the next 4 5 years, then even then the risk. So that was really worrying me. So then I thought that, okay, let's do the best option. So I used to research like this, that what is the best option to like cross your 5 years, or what is the best ROI. So I realized that IIM Indore came up with this 5-year integrated MBA program. So I started preparing for that, even just in my plus two. So that was the first institute that was teaching CAT, that was teaching IPM. So I went to Time Institute in Chandigarh. I told them that I want to apply for this. They said that you are the first student. We do not have yet even started this class or workshop or whatever. So they told me that you start studying with CAT students, and then they started advertising to take in admissions for IPM and everything else. So I started with 3 year elder people than me at that point of time during plus two. And where others were trying to get 99% in plus two, I was sure that I have to clear IPM. So I was practicing for those marks. So I got around 91, 92 because I understood that their eligibility was around 91, 92 only for all the good business exams. So I was working smartly from that time, that we have to focus only what we are actually required to do. But due to maths, I could not clear IPM. I fell short of around 2 marks. Then but I got cleared in all the other great colleges. But I realized that again, I'll have to do BBA. Then again, I'll have to do CAT and everything. So one thing I had decided that after plus two, I will not take any money from my father, because I used to read a lot of books. I understood that a lot of successful businessmen were not blessed with rich fathers. So they started working by the age of 8th, 9th, 10th, or something like that. I realized that at the age of 18, if I can vote, if I can drive, and if I can do everything else, I should be even able to earn and make money for my expenses. So during that, so I realized that now doing BBA from a top college is also not good, because I'll have to do MBA. Then the college I wanted to go, I have not been able to clear that. For CAT, I was not that sure that I'll have to do a lot of things, because it works on a percentile system. So even that felt wrong to me. Even IIT works that way. That I hope you know about it. That percentile system is like, one thing is getting scores, right? So if you are getting 99 out of 100, so you got 99%. But in percentile, it is that 99% of people should be behind than you. So percentile is basically a rank. I was also always against the ranking system, because you are competing with others. There's no point. So if you should always compete with yourself. That is one thing that I realized. So if other one, so you will have to hope that the other does not study well. That's not a good attitude. So I was always very wary of these kind of systems. So I did not have any other option. So what I started going out and trying to apply for a job, because of my FMM stream. I got a job in Angel Broking House for around 25,000 rupees after just doing plus two, because somehow I'd honed my because I was little aware of how things are happening. I used to observe people, I used to talk to people, so I had good communication skills, good confidence, and that is what I usually built on. And another thing that I learned in that workshop, that now I tell to everyone in my company, that 88% of our success. So they did a research in Harvard, that they gathered all alumni of 100 years of Harvard, obviously all of those who were alive, that all the past alumni, and they did a survey to understand that if all the Harvard people who consider themselves successful or whatever they're doing. So if you're Harvard, after Harvard, definitely you have such links and everything. You'll have to be really dumb to not be making good money in your life. So they were asked that if anything that you're doing right now, anything you are publicly acclaimed for, or you are earning some money, what will you dedicate your percentage, or dedicate your success to? So how much percentage to soft skills, and how much percentage to domain skills? So soft skills are how you are talking, how do you understand people, how do you manage stress, how do you efficiently maneuver a situation, how do you react at um unfavorable situations. And domain skills is, for example, you have the technical knowledge of something. For example, if I am owning a laptop, or how to solder its RAM, or how to repair Windows or something like that. So that is the technical domain skills, on how much great technical knowledge you have. So if you are an artist, so what kind of brush you have to use, how much experience you have in painting itself and everything, how great is your uh, painting skills. So that is your domain skills. And to this shock and surprise, the results came out that 88% of their success was based on their soft skills. Only 12% of their success was based on their domain skills. Only 12% of their whole success as a whole, people could say that most of their success was actually dependent on how good they are in what they're doing. And the others told, and most of the attributes were contributed to how good they were able to sell what they were doing, how good they were able to build a business model around it, what they were doing good at, or how how good they were able to make a case for themselves or present themselves or talk to people and actually make a company, how good they were in actually running a team of people to be able to achieve that result or something like that. So this is one big thing that I knew early on. So I used to develop them. So in first year, I took admission in Government College of Ludhiana, which is famously known as the college where you do not have to go. So like the people are so careless. Like first day when I went, my teachers in the department were, someone was like knitting a sweater, someone was cutting vegetables. So and I was a good student in school, so I was like really shocked also. But then I applied for that job, and somehow when I told my family that I've got this job, so my uncle, my mamaji, he is an industrialist. So he caught hold of me. He said that why I have to work for someone else? I'll give you work. You come work with me. And you know, all good industrialists in northern areas, because they are not able to have confidence in good educated people. They always feel that let us bring someone with character and trust, and we'll build skill in them. And even that is a good hiring tip for anyone who is here. That always hire people more for character rather than skill. It is a famous line said by someone that I forgot now. But skill can be taught, but character cannot be built. So when you and all these older companies like Ambani's and everything else, you will see that all their top level positions are some or the other nice people that they got hold of, not through interviews, but either through their family or either through some known or someone like this. And they see the character in that guy, that how much values are for guy or a girl, that how much values are fundamental that the other person has, and then skills can be learned on the way. So he was looking, he had confidence that yeah, he's a smart chap. Let me bring him to the company. And but the first year that I worked with him and I studied in government college, he gave me great learning. And there I realized about the world. So any one of you, if someone of you is in college or just studying or whatever you're doing, the what you learn by going out and doing stuff, nothing else will teach you that. So I realized that there are so many ways to make money. In the school, we are just taught that either it's commerce, it's non-medical or medical, but there are numerous ways to make money, and somehow everyone can make money in the world. Normally in the class, we used to feel that I'm a 95% scorer, so I'll have food to eat 5 years later. But the guy who's sitting in the back who gets just 45 to 50% marks, he'll die of hunger, he'll die of starvation, or he'll be such a failure. So that is what schools teach us. But I realized that there are innumerable ways to make money, and everyone somehow makes money. So that is not a problem. But how you want to achieve, what are your goals and what you want to achieve that, and how to achieve that, that is what you need to learn. So in that first year, I learned real good skills on how to handle people. And my mamaji is graduate in some other stream, but he's doing something else and really successful in that. So even that is a task for everyone, that whenever you're confused about career or what you do, just meet all those successful 40 to 45 year olds, old people. They'll always tell you that whatever this thought of in the beginning, they are they have ended up doing something else. And 99% of people will tell you this. All those people who have done good, they will tell you that I started off thinking this, but then this happened. And that is the right way, because nature chooses you and your path. So this is a very you won't realize that, but I'll come to it later. Just on the verge of finishing the story. So I worked with him. Then I realized that there were some issues. Like for example, I thought that no matter how much I'll work hard or something, I'll like there were some issues with his family members. So I realized that I could not be have that respect, or I could not make something of my own, or I could not have my freedom. I'll always be under him. So whereas we share a very good relationship, I still call him my mentor. But then very peacefully, I left that organization. And second year, because my college was so great, I had to look for a shift. So I worked something out. I made some lies and stories, then got migrated myself into in Punjab University itself to a government college in Chandigarh. So I realized that there is also the same story, that it's obviously a little better than my government college in Ludhiana, but I realized that teachers are all interested just so that you get marks, and because that is how the general thought, school of thought is everywhere. So but people were chilling, they had no vision or aim to just do something productive. So during my second year, because I could not take money from my home, I started selling and buying cars and bikes and everything. So I used to make good money on it. I was naturally inclined to love cars and automobiles. So I had good knowledge about it. So I realized that if this, so I used to keep watching OLX. Even today, people used to scroll Instagram and Facebook. I scroll OLX a lot. So just to know that what are the real value of things. For example, I would know that for how much a 2010 Audi, uh, which has crossed around 40,000 kilometers, will sell at. So I can see things that are someone is selling for a lower value and that can be sold at a better value. So I started flipping things. So I bought a bike, then repaired it, got it better, then sold it at a better price and something like this. So that is how I made money in second year, and that also gave me a lot of knowledge and skills and experience. But I realized in second year of my college that number one, I cannot cram anymore because I lost all faith in the studies that we were doing because of my experience with my mamaji in the industry. Because I realized that the business studies that they're teaching are all very old school. This is not how it works. And then it was more about just cramming and everything. So I lost faith. So I somehow uh, crossed through that second year, and I still had hope that this is not a good college. There must be a better college. So then I shifted myself to migrated third year to Aurobindo College of Ludhiana, which is somehow termed as best college in Punjab University. The toppers are from Aurobindo itself. But then in the first week itself, I realized that every college is same because the education curriculum takes a lot of time to change and the world is moving really fast. So I could learn better things on field and better things on the internet. So I did not say no to education, but I realized that educating yourself and choosing your own education is much better in these worlds than uh, choosing a common path that works on the assumption that such set of people uh, will actually like to work this way, which is very difficult. That is why the ratios are getting smaller. Earlier, there were 50 students in a class. Now there are 20 and 10 and 15, just on the basis that everyone is unique. So this was my story, whereas to my conventional story. And in the first 2 weeks, I realized that I cannot do this. So I dropped out and started Hum Hai. So even I'll tell you why did I start that. But before that, I would like to take you all through a 10 minutes meditation so that we can actually be a little peaceful, feel a little relaxed, feel a little good. And then I'll also take you through a process where we can have a very beautiful understanding of ourselves. So the bottom line of my story was that you need to understand what you are made of and you need to have original thoughts. You need to have original view of viewing life. You need to understand everyone's experiences. You need to be open and listening to all others stories and what all other have gone through, and then have a macro level view on how things work at general, and then mix it up with your own unique personality on how you think what is better for you, on how you think what you want to achieve, on what you have to aim for. If 90% of the world is moving towards something else, but if that is what you want, you should work with them. If that is not your goal, you have some your own definitive goals. You should think only original and do what you want to have. A lot of people do not do this. So that was the basic crux. I'll tell you. And then after I started Hum Hai, and then there's the entrepreneurial journey. But first, I would like to go through a small meditation. I hope I cannot see anyone's face though, so I just hope that we should all we are able to close our eyes and then just settle in a bit. I'll just like guide you through the process, and then keeping our eyes closed, I'll take you through an imaginative world. So I would just like that you all go through with me so that we can actually uh, give a good, beautiful value addition to this time that we are sharing together. So everyone, please close your eyes. And for next 10 to 15 minutes, just stop worrying about things around you. So just let me assure you that your laptop, your device, anything that is in your hand or anything that is on your bench or your table or anywhere else, nothing is going to be stolen. The world is not going to fall apart. Nothing is going to happen to you. Everything will stay just the same. You can put your phone on silent, just completely disconnected from whatever is happening around. Things will happen on its own. Take a long, deep breath in and slowly breathe out. Take another long, deep breath in and very slowly breathe out. While breathing, obviously, take your attention to all the noises around, all the subtle noises, noise of some people talking in the background, might be some noise of electrical appliances working, might be noise of the road, Can be any noise. Take your attention to all the subtle noises. And just accept the noises. Just be one with them. Take a long deep breath in and breathe out. Take your attention to the room you are sitting, to any enclosed area you're sitting. It can be a room, it can be a car like me, it can be your house, anything, to the room that you're sitting in. Take your attention to the width of the room, height of the room, total space in the room. Now take your attention to the building of the room, the total building that your room is in, or wherever you are. It can be your home, it can be an office building, it can be a school, a campus. Now take your attention to the area that you are in. It can be any street, any area, the whole locality. Take your attention to the neighborhood. Now expand your attention to the whole city you are in. Cover all its areas, all its roads, all its traffic, all of the parks, the trees, the buildings, your whole city. Expand your attention to the country you are in, all of the country, all its mountains, rivers, deserts, all its land, all its people, all the cities, all the traffic, all the life forms, the jungle, everything. Expand your consciousness to the whole earth. Expand yourself to the whole globe, all the continents, all the water bodies, all the animals, all the natural phenomena that happens on this planet. Slowly expand your consciousness and take in all the planets, the moon, planets, the sun, our galaxy, and all the infinite space that we are in. And just relax. Slowly take a long deep breath in. Very slowly breathe out. Bring your attention back to the earth, to your country, to your city, to the building you are in, to your room, and back to your body. Keep your eyes closed. Just bring your attention back to where you are. Normal deep breath in and slowly breathe out. Take another normal deep breath in and breathe out. I hope you are feeling all very relaxed. You can open your eyes for a minute. I hope you are feeling very nice and feeling very good. If anyone can type in the chat because I'm not able to talk to anyone. So this experience that we had right now, I felt really nice. So this allows us to log out from the current situation that we are in and have an out of the box approach. We have generally talked about this, heard about this, that a lot of solutions to our problems lies in out of the box approach. But it's really hard in our life to actually go out of the box. So when we are in deep shit, we are in deep trouble. Like if something is happening to that real time and our life is moving through a problem, we are not able to log out and log in. So when we are not able to log out, we are not able to have an out of box approach. So that is why generally you must have understood that in a smaller community, it's always advised to have friends or have close people. Why? Because if I am in a problem, my friend can actually guide me better. Why? Because he can have a better out of the box approach than me. Because I'm going through that, I'm having those sensations, I'm having that anxiety, I'm having that feelings. So I am going through that experience. So I'm not able to understand on how to solve it because I'm not able to see that through a bigger picture. But the other one who really loves me and who is a good friend, so he can actually see through that out of the box and tell me to do this, and this, and actually guide us. Similarly, when the other guy gets into a problem, you can have a better out of the box approach. Those are known as community benefits. That is why people are advised to get married. That is why people are advised to live in communities. That is why it is natural to be in communities, to be able to share happiness, share problems, and share sadness. So this is really important to actually be really comfortable with yourself. So on this topic of how to find your passion, where we have already the time is up, I need you to understand that everyone's passion is unique. And the way to find your passion, the reason I told you the story of before Hum Hai is because that was the time when I became comfortable with myself. That was the time when I knew who Milind Quatra is. That was the time when I knew what I have to do in life and what I do not have to do in life. A lot of people ask me that when we ask this story, please start your Hum Hai experience. Start how you started. Start how you did. But that is after I realized that what my passion is. So when I dropped out of college and started Hum Hai, or during all these years, all the story that I told, these were the build up to the fact that okay, this is not for me. This is not for me. Okay, this is not for me. And all those times when I was having those original thoughts and was able to carve my life myself, being that building that confidence, building that courage to be able to say no to people, to be able to say that no, this is not made for me without hurting anyone, to be able to respond back to people, to be able to be a really good friend with people, to be able to be a people's person, really be there for people. In those years I realized that rather than trying to build a career with my financial goals first, or like this is what I want to achieve first, or this is what I want to do first, I realized that as a nature I really love to help people. I really love to have a platform or have somewhere where I could actually add value to people's lives. So rather than keeping my financial goals first, I said that no, that I've made some money through my selling and that car and bike thing. I made some money when I was working in the factory with my mamaji. So I bought my first dream bike on my own and everything. I realized that the one thing that is really important to me, that really kicks me out of the bed, is when I want to help someone out, and with a good way, not in a way that nothing happens in the long run. So I wanted to build a platform where I could just help people. So to reach that thought, to reach that this is my passion of life, I actually had to go through all the tough, small decisions that I could make on the journey, where I could smartly navigate through that. Okay, this is where I'm not comfortable. Okay, not because of my weakness, but because of my own nature. So a lot of times we are confused between our comfort level and our passion. So, for example, if I am doing a job, right, it's tough, it's challenging. So, my mind will say, leave it. And then he will give an excuse that this is not your passion. That is not the right way. So, I was 100% in whatever I did. When I left my Mamaji, he wanted to build a new plant under my name where I will head. So I succeeded in what I was doing and then realized that, okay, I did good in this. I've got the marks, I've got the thing done. But now I feel that since I've done it 100%, I have succeeded in it. I realized that I was not that comfortable. It was really a really bad struggle. And even now, I do not feel good with that accomplishment. So never ever leave things in the way. Always be great at what you're doing. Only then you will be able to find out that since you were great at this thing and you are not feeling happy, that means this is not made for you. And then keep on the search for something that is great for you. But never ever use this as an excuse for what you're doing in life, and never ever leave things in between. Always understand how to shift, how to navigate, and only leave things when you are aced at something. So unless until I did not go to the best college of my state, or did not go to the best college under my university where I could only migrate to, I did not say that this is not for me. Only until I did not clear all my exams to the best colleges, apart from IIM Indore, I did not say that okay, I'll not go to it. Go in them, because I think they are too costly. So only when you have done your 100%, you can come to a logical conclusion. Okay, now let me evaluate. Only then you have earned the credibility to evaluate. If you are not good at your job, you cannot say this job is not good. First, do it 100%, ace in it, and then have the guts that I aced it. Now I feel this is not for me. This is how a lot of world champions do. A lot of people who have become great at one thing and then they choose their other thing, they are the real people. Just like you say, just like my dad used to say that ये कहने के लिए भी कि पैसा सब कुछ नहीं होता, पैसा होना चाहिए. So when I was too young, I used to talk कि पापा पैसा कुछ नहीं होता, and my dad used to tell me this, and I realized this is so true. To have an opinion about something, you need to be great at that. So this is my life story on how small things of my personal life helped me take the decisions to start up, and then definitely we are doing really good in the last 5 to 6 years. I think on a 10-year map, because if you have to become really a multi-millionaire or a billionaire, or you have to put your company out of the map, or anything you have to do great, you need those 10 years of struggle. Without 10 years of struggle, you will never be able to achieve what you want to achieve. But those 10 years of struggle should be the ones that you chose. So it can be any 10 years. It can be your age 50 to 60, even 60 to 70, or your 30 to 40, or your 20 to 30. So no matter in what age you are, you can start on the thing that you feel good and then struggle for next 10 years. But that struggle should be worthwhile. You should feel great at every point of that struggle. So if you have whatever you're doing, if you have aced it, but then you feel that all the struggle and the gift that I got is not worth it, then you please explore other things. But choose your 10 years of struggle. Without those 10 years of struggle, you'll never be able to reach a good success. You can show off success that is not your, that can be of your parents, that can be of someone else, that can be a fake thing. But to have that real struggle, you'll have to actually put those 10 years in that hard work. So I think I hope that I have been able to give some valuable inputs, and I hope that I've been able to add some value in anyone's life who was here. Since time's up, let me know if there are any questions or anything that you want to ask or anything. I would love to have a discussion on it or talk about.
Thank you, Milind. I think it was really an insightful session, and sharing life story is something which everyone would feel personal, but we really appreciate that you shared in your story, and I hope that will be an inspiration for our audience as well. So each one
I
would
hope
have one motivation, and yeah, end of the day, we all work for passion. Uh, Money is something which automatically comes behind. That's what my parents say, and I truly believe in that. A
there
lot
are
of
two possible conclusions when there are no questions. Either it was so good that people have no questions, or either it was so bad that people feel it's hopeless to ask any question.
no, I think you really covered on the struggle part, and also well said by you that you have to struggle to achieve success in your life, and each and every person have their own success story. So we cannot measure each other in success, I would say, because each of us have
Yes,
our own stories.
sure,
I really
sure.
appreciate your time, and thank you so much for an insightful session.
Amazing. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.